Whenever I go for a Sunday lunch for yum cha, I can't resist the pork buns. I can't stop at one, I have to have at least two because they're so good. You've got that beautiful fluffy white bread and then inside there's that little surprise of that delicious char siu pork. I love them. So instead of going to yum cha anymore, I'm going to show you how easy it is to do at home. You just have to have a little bit of patience and time for the dough. So to start with, what I've got in this bowl is some yeast. So this is just dry instant yeast, 7 grams. I've added some warm milk. You need the milk to be warm, so get it to around blood temperature, and then I've added some sugar, so 1/4 cup of sugar. That sugar and the milk with the yeast combined together will really activate it. So you just let it sit there in a warm spot and you'll see it'll start to bubble away. Give that around 20 minutes to an hour. So let's start with the flour. Now use a good flour here. We need 3 cups of self-raising flour. This one's great because it's really soft, which means we're going to get beautiful soft buns at the end. Now you can do this by hand, but you'll need some muscles and you'll need to knead for 10 minutes. So using a mixer is much easier. So in with 1 tablespoon of oil, and we'll start to add our mixture of yeast. Just be patient with it until it forms a dough. And then I'm just going to place it in a glass bowl and just allow it to sit in a warm spot with a damp cloth over it for an hour. Now that's important, that whole hour, because we need to allow it to prove and double in size. Now our dough is looking good. We're just allowing it to rest here for 1 hour, and that gives us just enough time to make our delicious pork filling. So to start with, I've got a pan on the heat here, just a little bit of vegetable oil, and we're going to add our onions, just some chopped onions here. Here I've got some garlic and ginger, and I've just finely minced that. That's 1 knob of ginger and 1 clove of garlic, so that can go in with our onions, and you just want them to soften. And then we can start adding our pork. Now, I've got 400 grams of minced pork here. This is not traditional at all. Usually you would use pork char siu, but I find pork mince works really well with this. There's just a little bit of fat in it, so it keeps it really moist, and we'll get small little pieces of pork throughout the bun. Okay, let's put that in. So that's 400 grams, and we just want to break it up with our fingers here. And then we'll change over to our wooden spoon and just crush that meat. Now, as soon as it starts to change colour from pink to white, we can start adding our sauces. Okay, so the meat's looking very good. So for the sauces, 70 mils of tomato sauce or ketchup, hoisin sauce, which is another sweet sauce, 70 millilitres of that, and some Shaoxing wine, which is just some Chinese cooking wine. And we'll give that a good stir. Looking good. Now for some spices. Chinese 5 spices are must for this one, so a teaspoon of that. Some light soy sauce, 2 teaspoons, and just a touch of sesame oil. Not too much sesame oil because it can be a little bit overpowering. So we'll just stir all of that sauce into the meat and onion mixture, and we're just going to allow that to bubble away very slowly for about 30 minutes. Then we'll allow it to cool completely, and finally, we can start making our pork buns. So an hour later, our dough has risen, it's softened, and we can take it out of the bowl now, and we just want to knead it again and make it into a sausage. So I'm just going to cut this in half just to make it a little bit easier. And we want to roll this out so it resembles a thick sausage, and then with our knife we're going to cut it in half. And then we want to cut it in 3, so we've got 6 even pieces of dough. This amount will actually make 12 altogether, but I'll make 6 for you today. And then what we do is just knead the individual pieces of dough, just like this. And now I've got my trusty little rolling pin here, and we can start rolling them out. Now, when you're rolling these out, make sure that you have a thinner outside area and a thicker inside. This will make it easier to wrap up and then fold at the end once we've put the stuffing in. And now we can start adding our chilled pork mixture here. So you want about a tablespoon in the centre, just like that. And then to wrap it, we just want to scrunch it up Now, I'm going to make them look a little bit rough, but if you wanted to, you could actually fold them up quite nicely. I actually really like that rustic look. So there's one little pork bun ready to go. And what I've got here is a little bit of baking paper. So you really need this to ensure they don't stick when they're steaming. So place your little pork bun on top, and we're just going to place the pork buns in the steamer and just allow them to brew for another 15 minutes. This is important because we really want them to puff up and soften. So 15 minutes resting, and then after that, we're going to steam them for 15 minutes. Our steam buns are finally cooked. Now, very careful with the steam here, always away from you when you're taking anything off a hot pot just like that. And same with the lid. Ta-da! The reveal, our pork buns are finally cooked. Listen, this is a labour of love, but it's well worth the wait because look how gorgeous these pork buns are. Now, they're piping hot, so before you eat them, just let them cool down just slightly. But I tell you what, how amazing are they? I'm going to cut them open just so you can see this one here. And look at that. We've got that soft bun, that delicious meat. Oh, pork buns. Is there really anything better than that? You won't stop at one, you'll have two, maybe three. Just make a whole lot of them because everyone is going to love these.